Hey guys, Rex here. So for years, I have used Psalm 144, verse 1, as an introduction to all my classes and on all sorts of videos, training videos, etc. I have learned over the years that it's important for me to be very clear. And as a young man, I assumed that people would actually read the entire passage and fully absorb the full message. It was my intent to facilitate the path of learning, like open the door. Here you go, guys. Don't just look at the first sentence. Go explore the fullness of what lies behind here. In my age, I've come to realize it is very important for me to actually be thorough and complete and fully articulate and solidify in more clarity these points, because not everyone is going to take it upon themselves to do that. You may have done a drive-by version of Psalm 44 a million times and gotten the opposite idea of what it's actually communicating. This, I hope, helps to clarify the way that I see the world and the way that I see all the stuff we're doing here. It's very important for me to articulate what angle I'm coming from so that in the future, people don't misinterpret my intentions or that I don't attract the wrong deal, okay? It's important for me to be more clear up front, like extremely clear, so I do not attract the wrong deal, because that can be expensive, okay? So, Psalm 144 is pointing to Yah as our protection, provision, our power, in everything, okay? It is not talking about how tough and scary we are. Although that's what some people interpret it as, okay? So let's read through it like carefully. And I'm just going to read straight out of this 1917 Tanakh version. I use King James, whatever. There's a lot of different versions that I think get it across very nicely. I'm just going to use the exact verbiage they have here. Forgive me if I'm using terms that trigger you, okay? Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who traineth my hands to war and my fingers for battle. My loving kindness and my fortress, my high tower and my deliverer, my shield, and he in whom I take refuge, who subdueth my people under me. Lord, what is man, that thou takest knowledge of him? Or the Son of Man, that thou makest account of him? Man is like unto a breath. His days are a shadow that passeth away. O Lord, bow thy heavens and come down. Touch the mountains that they may smoke. Cast forth lightning and scatter them. Send out thine arrows and discomfit them. Stretch forth thy hands from on high. Rescue me and deliver me out of many waters, out of the hand of the strangers, whose mouth speaketh falsehood, and their right hand is a right hand of lying. O God, I will sing a new song unto thee. Upon a psaltery of 10 strings, I will sing praises unto thee, who givest salvation unto kings, who rescuest David, thy servant, from the hurtful sword. Rescue me and deliver me out of the hand of the strangers, whose mouth speaketh falsehood, and their right hand is a right hand of lying. We whose sons are as plants grown up in their youth, whose daughters are as the corner pillars carved after the fashion of a palace, whose garners are full, affording all manner of store, whose sheep increase by thousands and 10,000s in our fields, whose oxen are well laden, with no breach and no going forth and no outcry in our broad places. Happy is the people that is such a case, yea, happy is the people whose God is the Lord. The terminal learning objective of that, guys, I hope, is super obvious. That Yah is the one who's in charge of stuff. He is the one that is the stronghold. The terminal learning objective is to internalize that human power and weaponry and skills of our hands is futile compared next to his protection and provision. David cries out from a warrior, "This is not me, this is not my hands, this is you and your hands. You can send lightning bolts, you can scatter these people, rescue me." And he says, "I'll sing a new song." What's the new song? A revelation in attitude. Because David struggled, as you guys might know, with temptations of everything. Women, pride, glory, honor. And I believe that David was struggling with the idea that, like, you know, when you're the national hero of Israel, when you are the badass, it's a lot of gravity to let your heart be pulled in the wrong direction. And David, I think, fell folly to some of that for a while. And it came to realize, again, through all the miracles and all the stuff and just reflecting honestly in a moment of silence and song, which can be the same thing, who is protecting him the whole time. And so the psalm to me is beautiful because it specifically acknowledges that men through their own hands tried to protect themselves through their own skill and their own blade and their own power. But when those men that really have experienced provision and protection from above can bear witness that it is all from him. This is one out of a bunch of Psalms. I think Psalm 33, I think I put it here. Let me see if I can find Psalm 33. Where did I put that? There's a lot of other places that echo the same lesson. So Psalm 33:16 Psalm 33:16 through 17. A king is not saved by a great army. The war horse is a vain hope for victory. This is like all through the Proverbs. It's all through Solomon's writings, his kid. It's all through the Psalms. It's all through the entire scripture. That vanity in our own skills and our own capabilities and our own experience is folly. And he allows us to suffer of that folly as long as we're trying to run away from him. He doesn't share his glory with anyone, guys. I've heard this a number of times from a number of people. He doesn't share his glory with other people. We cannot point to ourselves as the strength. If we do, we lead people to a different Elohim. So the last part of the passage. And you guys understand the word God in English is not what you think it means. It's not like, oh, that's like the guy on the clouds. The word God in Hebrew is Elohim, which doesn't just mean spiritual beings. It literally means powerful forces, powers, gravitas. Okay? And Yahovah is the authority of the Creator, specifically that one. Last verse of Psalm 144, verse 15. Happy is the people that is in such a case. The ones that are just overflowing with life, their vineyards are growing, they're happy on their farm. They're depending on Yah for protection and provision. They're not getting into trouble. It says, happy are the people that are in such a case. Yea, happy is the people whose, God, Elohim, happy is the people whose power is Yehovah, him. Their power is him. It's not other stuff. It's not chariots, pointy objects. hand grenades, mortars, tactics, strategy, battleships, elite training, satellite surveillance systems, infrared drone stuff. Those are tools. You can have tools. Dude, I have an M4 right here, right now. It is not my strength. Let me rewrite this. Blessed be Yahovah, my rock, who trains my hands. Now, how is his hands really trained for war and his fingers for battle? He's taking the language of a soldier of using his hands for war and my fingers to fight. That must mean karate. This is called poetry, guys. He's laying out the thing that he's going to explain. So he's using a thing that we all know. He's going to explain how it really works. You want to see how my hands are trained for war and my fingers are for battle? Now don't just pause. That's the wife head note on my top secret alarm system, that I depend on for my fortress, right, guys? You can have tools, but when your fingers are trained for battle, how? Don't just pause there and then go watch like a World War II freaking documentary and be like, oh, the Air Corps, that was the power that saved the Allies. He'll let people suffer the folly of them throwing pointy objects at each other all day long. And if you don't have, here's the thing, if you do not actually have him as your high tower and your fortress, you better train your ass off, because you are a very small thing in a very huge pointy world. If you're going to go fight the Romans or anything like that, you better literally be Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator 2, and Rambo all at the same time. You understand? But that's not what David is communicating here. We don't just pause there and fill it in with our own stuff. Oh, that means that my sniper gun is my power. Sniper gun, that's funny. My gold-plated sniper Uzis. No, it's not talking that your gold-plated frickin' sniper Uzis are your power to save you. That is dumb. He's saying that my loving kindness. What? He's talking about battle and war, then he goes immediately into my loving kindness and my fortress. My high tower, what's that? Your protection, and my deliverer, my shield, and he in whom I take refuge, who subdueth my people under me, talking about who keeps unity of his kingdom that he's responsible for. And then he talks about how small and fleeting man's power is for the whole middle part of the psalm. And then he goes into singing a new song with his guitar, his 10-string guitar, that like, who rescueth David from the hurtful sword? I love it with the hurtful sword. Rescue me and deliver me out of the hands of these guys. You deliver me. I don't want to, they got pointy objects, you deliver me. Yeah. And then he describes this beautiful people that's happy and in harmony, in love with those around them. It's a different story than what I know a lot of you have gotten out of that. David is not telling you to go and sharpen your pointy objects and have strength in them. Why did I use it in my training for years? Because if you've been to my training's a little unique. I would go through all the stuff, all the physics, all the reality of what has to happen here for this cause to have this effect. I go through cause and effect. I go through how the universe is governed by immutable laws. Laws that I cannot change due to my opinion. Laws that I don't get to edit because I didn't want to look at it. Laws that I don't get to pick and choose. That I don't really like the force of wind right now. That didn't happen. The bullet's going to go where it goes. Based on the laws of all the forces at play. And we have to acknowledge this was if you've been to my seminars, when I've actually done my seminars, when it was me doing my seminars, I can do them again one day, maybe. We'll see. We'll see if I have enough energy for it. The whole time I'm talking about, and guys are sitting there smirking, they're like, I think I know what he's getting at. Yeah, that the physics of reality, you don't get to argue with it. It's talking about God's laws are unified across every genre, including where your bullet even lands. His laws said, no, gravity falls at 9.8 meters per second squared, period. You don't get to adjust it. You don't get to weasel out of it. Oh, I didn't believe in that part. Well, it freaking happened anyways, because that's the laws. It's establishing love for the order and predictability of his laws and how forces are at play and how wonderful it is when we can see all these different forces and adjust us to account for those forces and hit our targets in life. And then at the end of the classes, I'd always have an hour-long, beautiful exposition talking about, all right, guys, do you want to learn how we're going to save America? Right? Because that's what people want to do. There's flags in the corners and all this stuff, right? Guys like, we're gonna save America now, Rex. Tell us what to do. Through discipline, if young men of this next generation can fall in love with the discipline and physics of the universe, in order to succeed in this hobby, which is just plain simple golf for old guys, from our perspective, or hunting, right? If you can do good in this particular hobby, then that will play through in the rest of life, because you will realize that discipline yields accuracy. That study and research and understanding the real forces at play make you have to adjust things on your end. We don't adjust the physics of the universe to suit what we want. We adjust how we do things because of the physics are fixed. His laws are eternal. And they don't care whether you knew about it or not. It will happen. Cause and effect. It's like Newtonian physics, good and evil. And have a speech about, like, if the young people can fall in love with this art mixed with the beautiful symmetry of math and physics and chemistry and all the thermodynamic processes at play, they can understand the adjacent operative dimensions of those physics. And they can live a life of high quality, where they're actually thinking what they're doing, where they can make informed decisions on how to live based on the laws of the universe. And then I'd put this back up there again. And it would help people to be on the right path. That was the intent of me sharing Psalm 144. And for those that never saw the speech, okay, and I mean, like, man, even some of my recent elders never saw my class, never got around to that. But I wish that you guys could have seen the lessons. I have them recorded. But that was like through the entire series of training. That's where we get. And I'd hint at it up front, and then I would overtly lay it out when we get to the end. Because at that point, they would have their full undivided attention was on fathoming at, wow, look at all the physics. Look at all the physics it takes to hit a water bottle. It's a lot. And isn't that neat? That it's possible to get close to the bullseye more consistently? Isn't that neat? Wouldn't that be nice if we can do that, like, in life more often? And they would laugh. Because it's true. But we can. You know why? Because just like the gravity and the frictional forces and all the different stuff at play, centrifugal motion, you know, all the different effects of how the stuff is spin stabilized, and like the heat and all the stuff and getting everything tuned on this end has to be perfectly aligned for it to go this way. It's a beautiful metaphor. That's why David used the metaphor with arrows. All right, guys, was David telling you, all right, guys, if you want if you want to live on Earth, you better be able to shoot people with arrows. Because that's what I did when I was an army guy with my arrow shooting device. That is not what he's freaking talking about. This is not what David's talking about. I assure you, I write poetry too. I can see that it's a beautiful metaphor. Come on, guys. So Psalm 44, read it carefully. Reread the Bible passages that are your favorite ones that you think make us look cool from a new light. They're all pointing to Dad. At no point did David ever take credit for the cool stuff that happened when he was standing in his body. He did not take credit for Goliath. Did David take credit for Goliath? No, because he knows that stone was delivered by Papa. Read the story. Slow down. Okay? And don't be tempted by man's gravitas. We all have this thing to want to point to ourselves all the time. It is not about us. He made it so abundantly clear. It's a beautiful passage. Don't waste it. Use this to teach your children that this was one of the biggest badasses in history, and he does not point to himself as being the badass. He points to his Father in heaven all the time, every time, consistently. It was a proper flow through from the right direction, from Dad to him. And then he was able to flow through that down to the people that he was responsible to help, which is us, through his writings. It's poetry, beautiful. So I hope that's helpful. Read the Bible more slowly. It literally says, happy are the people whose power is him. Yah. That's their power. Not what they can do. What he has done. Do we participate? Yes. But the flow has to come from the right direction. If we think it's from us up, that's what happened at the Tower of Babel. It was a terrible idea. They got blown up. Okay? It has to come from Papa. We have to be on reception mode more than transmission mode. We don't just transmit our stuff all the time, everybody and him. We got to receive. And then we got to be like a repeater. Like we're receiving Dad's stuff because that's the clean water. If it's my stuff being projected, that's not the clean water. That's Rex's stuff. That's after I sat in the water myself. You know what I mean? Which is like, hey guys, look at the water I found. Rex, should I drink it? No. But the spout's right there. Oh, should I get some for myself? Yes. Fill your own tub so you can get clean with your clean water. But you don't want to reuse my water. It's gray now. It's what they call yucky because all my stuff is in it. I would never force someone to drink my bath water. We have to get the clean water from Dad. He's the one that is the pure water. Okay? So I hope this is helpful in straightening out the direction of flow, the proper flux in the universe. You know what I mean, Vern? Okay? So if you have any questions about that, let me know. I hope this is helpful. If you appreciate these lessons, please let me know below. Please encourage me that you understand what I'm saying. Okay? I don't want to assume that you guys get it. Please just let me know that you get it if you do. If you don't, absolutely PM me. I'll clarify any points if you have any questions. If there's other passages that you really feel, well, actually, Rex, the Bible here says that we should be tough and scary and depend on our own power. I'd be like, oh shit, I better read that part because I missed it. Or we should slow down and read the whole thing and make sure what it's saying. Okay? But PM me if you find that stuff. It's totally cool. I'm here to assist you. Not to get to me, but to get to Papa. I do not want you to camp out in my yard for 1,000 years. I want you to come with me out of my yard, and then we can all walk to Papa. And then when we get there, then we hang out with him. You understand? It's such joy to follow Dad. Let's do that. Rock and roll, Rex out.